Okay, so I'm going to switch on to the genetics handout now. And does everybody have one? Okay. We'll be going on to flu after the break. So. Okay, so viral genetics. These are nucleic acid. These viruses contain nucleic acid. So the genetics is basically the same principles as all the other genetics, you know. Nucleic acids are nucleic acids. They're basically chemicals. The rules apply. But viruses have got some areas where I just want to focus on because they do things, they have some additional options, just like we saw with DNA synthesis. So the basic principles are the same. So a lot of this is going to be review, and I'm just going to go through it quickly, but I just want to stress a few areas where it's important to think about in relationship to viruses. And the genetics of viruses have been really important in enabling us to understand things like their pathogenesis and their life cycles. So it's been very important in developmental research areas. They're very important in understanding problems and with vaccine development. And also, of course, things like drug resistance are very important. And the more we understand about how these viruses behave, the more we understand about how treatments should be given, just as you've seen with antibiotic resistance and things in bacteria. Once you understand the basis of some of this, you can try and minimize some of the impact. Not terribly. Okay. So let's start with one thing which this is a quote, that here it says, the DNA chromosomes of eukaryotic host organisms, i.e. you, generally require geological time spans to evolve to the degree that their RNA viruses can achieve in a single human generation. So what they're saying is viruses change much more rapidly than do their hosts. And why is that? Well, one thing is to think about. Viruses grow very rapidly. So when a cell is infected, the first new virus particle may be out within an hour or less. And many of these viruses are lysing their cells by about 5 hours. You've got a huge amount of virus being produced, like 5,000 particles, 10,000 particles. So a single particle produces a lot of progeny. Now, if you think about this, by the time you've got to the end of my lecture this morning, if you were a virus, you could have produced 5,000 virus particles by the end of this lecture. And if all of those and you were producing another 5,000 virus particles by the end of halfway through the next lecture, and if they didn't die of terminal boredom, they could do another round. But you'd have a huge number of great-grandchildren by 12 o'clock. So this is the big problem. Their generation time is incredibly short, and they produce an incredibly large number of offspring. So what you will find is, of these huge numbers that are produced, there are going to be lots of mutations, but they're just produced so quickly and in such huge amounts that this virus pool is going to be enormous. So that's one of the reasons why you get these really rapid changes.